Hi, I'm Don Mecoy. I'm a reporter with the Oklahoman. I'm here today with Bruce Day. He's a principal partner with Day Edwards Law Firm in Oklahoma City, and he's here to talk with us today about a case that took place in Tulsa District Court. There's a company called Powder River Petroleum that has been subjected to an order sort of freezing their assets, and there's been a lot of allegations about a huge Ponzi scheme that they may have been involved with, and Bruce is here to talk to us about that today. Thanks for coming in, Bruce.
Pleasure.
What brought all this about?
Summation Investors, I've been appointed as a receiver, and I'm not the attorney for the investors, but they retained, Singapore and Malaysian investors retained a lawyer by the name of David Widows in Tulsa, who has brought an action in district court alleging a Ponzi scheme involving over $40 million and several thousand Asian investors.
And that was going to be my next question. The allegations are that this is a huge scheme. How big is it? How many countries are we talking about?
3 countries, and that the Ponzi scheme is alleged to have occurred over several years. And the Ponzi scheme is basically where the allegation is, and that's going to be subject to proof by Mr. Widows, that the monies that were taken from the initial investors were simply paid to follow-on investors to give the appearance that it was a viable investment.
And I think the allegations also included that investors were buying fractional shares in oil and gas assets.
It's working interest in an oil and gas interest, exactly what they were saying. It's a very common form of investment here in Oklahoma and in the Midwest. I've not seen it, these kind of offerings overseas, and certainly never involving as many investors as was involved in this circumstance. It's typically, you rarely see more than a dozen, 30 people involved in a working interest offering.
And so what's going to happen next in this case?
In this instance, a hearing for a permanent injunction and also to determine whether the receivership, I've been appointed as an interim receiver. My job simply is to maintain the status quo prior to that hearing. Nothing, I'm not going to change anything, not going to remove anything, not going to distribute any assets, but simply to maintain the status quo of that company until a hearing next Wednesday, in which witnesses will be presented and cross-examined as to whether the injunction against the company in terms of not selling any further securities and whether it should be put into a receivership will be placed before the court. And
that really will be the first time that the officers of that company would have a chance to appear before the judge.
Exactly.
And so maybe we'll hear from them.
I'm sure we will at that point.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks for coming in and explaining it to us. It's a very interesting case. We look forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you.